Hi everyone, this is Nived. So in this video, we will see how we can do the desktop automation using Robocop. So these are the different methods for implementing desktop automation using Robocop. First method is by using image-based automation, where we are utilizing the image of a particular UI element and use that image to do particular actions like clicking, etc. Second is by using keys. Key means, let's say we can utilize tab key, enter key, etc. to navigate through different fields and do the required kind of automation. Okay, there is another way. Third way is by using accessibility inside software. It is a kind of software that actually helps to generate the properties for a particular UI element and using that property value to automate desktop applications. And there is accessibility inside for Windows and also for Mac also. But currently using Robocop we can only automate Windows based application by utilizing accessibility inside software. And I think in future they will also provide an update in such a way that we can also do the automation of application in Mac OS using accessibility inside software. And these are the libraries that we are utilizing for desktop automation. First is rpa.desktop libraries, which can be utilized for any which can be utilized for automating any desktop application in any operating system, whether it is Windows, Mac, or Linux. And second is rpa.desktop.operating system. It actually has some specific function regarding the actions related to operating system. And third is the library which is specifically used for Windows, and this is what we are going to use in our case or in our tutorial, that is rpa.desktop.windows. Okay, and last is the library which is used for dealing with clipboard functionalities, that is rpa.desktop.clipboard. Okay, so hope you got an idea about the overview of desktop automation in Robocop. So let's start doing our tutorial. So let's move to the Robocop lab to create the workflow. So already I had created the workflow, that is calculator underscore robot. And for a demonstration, so here I am automating the calculator application. So what does the bot will do in this automation? So the bot will actually take two numbers as an input from the user, and then it will click the respective numbers and then add these two numbers together and provide us the result back. So that is what our bot is actually going to do here. Okay, so let's start implement our case. So let me create a keyword cell for this. Okay, so let's first start with a very simple calculation. Okay, so let me give the keyword a name. Let's say calculator. Okay, yeah. So now we have to now we had to add some functionality to this calculator keyword, so that whenever bot call this calculator keyword, it should do the required action of calculating the two numbers in the calculator application. So let's see how we can do that. So first, the first step is we need to open this calculator application. And for opening the calculator application, there is a keyword called open executable that is present in rpa.desktop.windows library. If you search in the keyword explorer, you can get the documentation as well for that particular library, open executable, that you can see here. Okay, so before using this open executable keyword, you first had to import rpa.desktop.windows library. So let me import rpa.desktop.windows library, rpa.desktop.windows. Yeah, so next we can specify the keyword. So let me copy this, 1 2 3 4. Let me specify open executable. Okay, so now we had to pass two parameters, one is the executable and next is the window title. So since we are opening the calculator application, first we had to specify the name of the executable and next is the window title. Okay, so let me pass the the two parameters. So the executable name or the exe file name that we have to pass first. So in the case of calculator, I think it is calc.exe, and next we have to specify the window title of this application. So in this case the window title is calculator, so we can specify that also here. 1 2, that is calculator. Cool. Okay, so now after specifying this, what we have to do next after opening this application, next is like we had to click the numbers and then get the sum back. So that is the next step that we need to do here. So prior to that we need to get the input from the user. Okay, so you got it. So for getting the input from the user, you have to specify the argument keyword. Okay, let me specify the argument keyword here. Argument keyword. Now we have to get two arguments. One is the first number and second is a second number, and which actually required to be added. So let me specify the keyword here after two spaces. First underscore number. Next parameter is the second number. So let me specify that to here. Cool. Now after opening this application, next step is what? You had to click the respective number. Okay. So for clicking the respective number, you have to utilize this activity, mouse click activity. You can see here it is also coming under rpa.desktop.windows. So you can utilize this keyword. So let me specify this keyword here. So first we need to click on the first number. So let me specify mouse click 1 2. So you have to pass the locator of the element that you need to click, and here you can pass either the image or the coordinates, etc. So in this, or you can also specify the uh, other properties that are generated through the accessibility inside software. Okay, so in this case I am using the UI element property that are generated using accessibility inside software as a locator uh, for this action. So let me use the accessibility inside software for this. So let me open the accessibility inside software. So already I had downloaded this accessibility inside software, and you can also download the accessibility inside software by going to this link accessibilityinsights.io, and then you can click on download and select the respective operating system. In our case I am downloading it for Windows, then you can download it for Windows here. Okay, currently Robocop only supports the automation using accessibility insight only for Windows now. So I think you can only do with Windows only, but in future there may be an update for Mac OS also. So let me open the accessibility inside software. Okay, so let me just update it later. Yeah, cool. So this is accessibility inside software, and if you so using this you can able to generate the property of a particular UI element, that I will show you how. For example, let me open this. Okay, let me just tag it here. Cool. Now let me click on play. Okay, now if you go to any of the UI element, you can see that whenever I focus on any of the UI elements, some properties are being generated here. So let me just pause it to see the property correctly. You can see there are a lot of properties being present here: accelerator key, access key, area property, area role, automation ID, like the different properties you can see. And we should find the unique attribute or unique property that actually helps to locate this element. And in this case I think the unique properties are: one is name and second is the automation ID. But I'm not preferring to use the name as a locator. The reason is because this name can change based on the local language settings. If you change the language settings, automatically this name will get changed, so it's not a reliable locator for us. Otherwise the best way or the best locator should be, I think, the automation ID. So the automation ID can we can use the automation ID as a locator here, because always it is preferred to use automation ID as a locator rather than using name as a locator. Okay, I think you got the reason why. So you can use the name as a locator. even if you let's say the here the automation id for this seventh button is number 7 button. If you use, if you just hover over 8, and you can see that the automation id for this is number 8 button. Okay, so if you generate it for 9, it is, I think, automation id is number 9 button. So if the number is, let's say, I, it should be number I button, so the automation id should be number I button. Okay, so there is so let's use this in our automation. Okay, so let me just, yeah, so here we have to specify the locator for that particular UI element so that the mouse can click that particular UI element. So in this case we are using automation ID. Okay, so we have to specify the locator like this, ID, then we have to specify the locator. So generally, if you, let's say, if we need to select the number 9 or the button 9, we have to, the automation id should be number 9 button. If the button is 8, it should be number 8 button. So if our number we provide is a first number is actually a variable, so in general how we can write the automation id for a first number button, it should be write as number first number then use button. Okay, so this is a general way of writing an automation ID for any variable. Okay. Now, next, after clicking the first number in the calculator application, next what we have to do, we have to add these two numbers actually. So we have to click on this plus button after this. So for clicking the plus button, we can use the same mouse click activity, mouse click keyword, and we have to specify the locator for this plus button. So for locator for this plus button, you can use the accessibility index itself. So for that, let me just play here. So when you click on this play only, it will try to identify the element. Okay, you can see. Now when you, if you just pause it, you can clearly visualize all the properties for this focus element or this plus button that you can see. Otherwise, what happen is, if you play it again, whenever you go to any other point or any other UI element, you try to highlight it again, so that you can't properly view the properties of this plus button. That is why I actually stopped it here, so that you can visualize all the properties. So you can see here also, for this plus button you can utilize automation id itself. Okay, so let me specify that too here. Mouse click 1 2 id, and the value for the automation id is what? Plus button. Plus button. Okay, plus button. Next, what we have to do next is, we have to click the second number which we need to add with the first number. So for that also we can use the mouse click, then you have to specify the id, and in this case the id should be the same as the I for the first number, but the change is that instead of first number we can use the second number. Okay, so let me copy the same thing. Okay, and instead of first number you can specify it as a second number. And there is also limitation by using this way of doing. I will tell you with an example later, so that we can modify it so that it can work for any use case. Okay, so now after clicking the mouse button, like after clicking on plus, next is what we have to extract the results. So in general, uh, if you click, let's say, 7 plus 4, then I think, sorry, next we have to click on this plus button. I think, sorry, we have to close this. Yeah, so after clicking 7 plus 4, you have to click on equal sign button so that you can generate the result. So after clicking on the second button or second number, you have to click on equal button. So equal button, for that also you can use mouse click, and you have to specify the locator for this. For this also we can utilize accessibility inside software. Okay, yeah, so let me For this we can see the value of automation id is equal button, and then this you can pass it as a locator for the equal button identification. So let me specify that here. Equal button. Okay, so now after clicking on the equal button, you have to like after clicking on the equal button you will get the result. You can see here when you add 7 plus 4 you get 11. So now you need to get this 11 value. So for getting the 11 value for a particular UI element in the desktop application, there is a keyword that is coming under rpa.desktop.windows, that is get text. You can see here, yeah. Using this, you can able to retrieve the text from the particular UI element. Okay, so you can specify this. Yeah. So to this keyword, we have to specify the locator of the particular UI element from which you need to get the text. So actually, so since we need to extract the data from here, so what we can do is we can specify the locator for this particular UI element. So let me specify the locator for this particular UI element by using accessibility index. So accessibility insight. So let me just, yeah. So you can see that when you hover over this is the from this particular UI element you need to get the text. So let me find what is a locator or what is automation ID for this particular UI element. It is actually calculator result. Okay, so we can use automation ID or the locator as the calculation result to extract this value. So let me specify, and we can store this data in a variable. Okay, so let me specify it as a result. Okay, so this result will contain the text that is generated from this get text keyword. Okay, let me specify id, that is a locator, as calculator result. Okay, so let me specify it as calculator results. I hope it is correct. Let me check it. Calculator results. Okay, so this result will store the text from this particular UI element. Okay, now I think our like process or workflow for adding two numbers is actually done. So we can test it to see whether it is working fine or not. And after getting the result, we need to print the result. So for printing the result, we can use notebook print, which is coming under rpa.core.notebook library. So let me specify that to here, library rpa.core.notebook. Yeah. So now we have to print the data using notebook print. Use result. Okay, so after getting the result, next step is what you have to quit this application. For quitting the application, you can use, so let me close this accessibility inside software because it's now no longer needed. So let me use quit application. So it actually helps to quit the currently active application, or even you can close the application by using the app id. Okay, so the documentation for this also being presented here. Okay, so you can refer this. So in this case, using quit application, even we didn't pass any argument to this quit application keyword, it will actually close the currently active application. So let me copy this and place it here. Cool. So this is a simple workflow actually we have designed, which will actually take two numbers, then it will add those two numbers, and then it will print the result in this Robocop console, and then it will close the application. Okay, so let's test this by providing two numbers as an input, 1 2 3 4, and specifying calculator. Now here we have to specify two arguments, that is the first number and last number. So let me specify that here, 1 2. Let's start with single digit numbers. Let's say 5 8. Okay, so let me close this here. Let's see whether we get our result correctly or not. We can run the workflow. So you can see this opening calculator application, clicking 5 and 8, then getting the result back. And you can see the result that it has been printed in the Robocop console that we get from the get text keyword. And you can see the output of this get text keyword actually seems like in a dictionary format, where you can see the values are like in a key value pair format. And you can see from this key value pair format, you can see from this key value pair format we can obtain our required data, because the main aim of our automation is it will click on this the respective first and second number, then it will get the result and it will print the to the Robocop console. In our case, when you add 5 plus 8, you should get 30, and in our case you get a dictionary, and within this dictionary you can find that our value is present in this key value pair, that is display is 30. So we need to extract this data. So for extracting this data, what we can do is we can extract this value by specifying this key, and after specifying this key we can utilize the regex method to extract this data from this particular value. Okay, so let's do that here. So for doing that, we had to first import certain libraries, and for extracting a data using regex method you can use get regex p matches. Yeah, you can utilize this keyword to return a list of data matching per the regex pattern. So let me use this one. So before using this keyword, you have to specify the library from which you can use this keyword. So it is present in under string library. Let me provide string library. Now you can utilize this keyword. So let me specify the data. You can specify the output variable of this get regex p matches is stored in data variable. This is actually a kind of list. So let me specify it here. Now we have to pass two parameter here. One is the string from which we need to extract the data, and second is the regex pattern by which we need to extract the data. So in our case, the string is actually this key value pair. So we actually our string is actually this value, that is display is 30. So to obtain this value, we can get from this result variable by specifying the key name, that is legacy underscore name. So let me specify that result legacy underscore name. Now after this parameter, you have to specify the regex by which you need to extract the data. So the regex parameter should be like this. Let me copy this. Yeah, super. Okay, yeah. So this should be the regex parameter. Now we need to print the data back. So for printing the data, yeah. So actually this data is a collection. Okay, so since we know that only there is one data, so there should be only one data present in this data variable. So to access that first data, you can use the index, that is 0, to access the first data. That should be this number, that it should be the sum of these two numbers. Okay, so let's just test it to see whether it is working fine or not. Sorry, I think, yeah. Yeah, you can see that it is outputting 30. Okay, If you test it with other two numbers like 1 and 8, what you will get? Try with see. Yeah, it's working fine. It will output the 9 as a sum. Now, there is another limitation to this code that we had developed. If you just specify 11 and 8, you can see that it won't work, that you can see. Yeah, it won't work. You can see the error or the reason why it won't work. If you look at the log section, you can see it failed at this case. Okay, so why it failed at this case? The reason is that it is not able to identify the unique element for id number 11 button, because as per our approach, if you open the calculator application for number for this button 4, the id should be number 4 button. For number 8, it should be number 8 button. And as you can see, there are only one digit number here, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 up to 0. So there is no two digit number. So since you had specified the first number as two digit number, so the locator should be what? Number 11 button, which is actually not presented here. Okay, so you have to handle that also. So for handling that, how you can handle that? So actually you can handle that even if you provide 11 here also, this error would come. So you have to handle that both cases. So how to handle that? So let me open the notepad for simple demonstration. The logic that you have to apply here is let me view this. Yeah, yeah. So let's say you are giving number as 11. So what you have to do is you have to split into two numbers. Let's say 1 and 1. Then let's say you have 11 number. Then what you have to do is you have to split into two characters or two characters. Here 1 and 1 are individual characters. So you can specify 1 and 1 as individual character, and you can loop through this individual character, then click the respective element. Okay, so I think you got the logic. So you can do it in action so that you can understand it well. Okay, so let me modify this code a little bit so that you can understand it well. So like you can like split this first number into different characters. For example, the 11 is the first number here, so you can split the 11 into 1 and 1 character. Okay, because when you split into a string into different character, each individual should be each character. Here it should be 1 and 1. Then you can loop to that particular list of character to select that particular element, and then automatically it become 1. For example, if you click 1 then 1, you can see it become 11. So same logic I am applying here. So here first I will split that number into individual character, then I will loop to that list of character to then selectively click the mouse. Okay, so that it can generate the respective number. So by using this, this can be applicable even if you, let's say if you type a 4-digit number, then it will also handle this also. So you can see how it can do that. So first we need to split that first number string into individual characters. For doing that, we had a keyword called split string into characters. You can utilize this keyword. Okay, so let me specify this keyword here. So for it is also coming under string library. Okay, so you already you had imported it. So let me put it here as result. Now you can specify another variable name. Let's say first underscore cat. Now you can specify this keyword split string into characters. Okay, 1 2. Now you have to pass the string which we need to split into individual character. In our case it is first number. Okay, so now this first cat is actually a list of characters. Here if you specify 11, 11 it will be split into 1 and 1. So the number of, it's actually a list of characters. Now what you need to do, you need to loop through this list of character and then selectively click the required character number. So for that, by this it will make a number that you need. Okay, so we can do that by using for loop to iterate through this list. So we can specify the for each loop here for I. So let me just provide some space here. Okay, k for I in first cap. Now you can see that for each element in that first character list, you have to click on that particular UI element. For example, you are splitting, let's say you are splitting this 11 into 1 and 1. So what you need to do, you want to selectively click on this. Let's say you split that number into 11 and 11, then you can selectively click this 1 and 1 continuously so that it generates that particular digit. Okay, so for that you can specify the same mouse click keyword, but you can try with different uh, like modification. 1 2 3 4. Okay, so here instead of first number you can provide I. Okay, now you can end this. Okay, you will get the idea when it works, when you see it's working. Similarly, you can provide for the second number. For second number also, you will split the second number into individual character, then loop through that each element in the character list, then it will selectively click that particular character to generate that particular number. Okay, so you can do the same thing for the second character also, but before that you have to click the plus button. Before doing the for the second character, you have to click the plus button. Now utilize the same method that we use for the first character for the second also. So let me specify this here. Okay, second cat. Okay, specify it for, yeah. So now we'll change it because same thing we had to apply, so don't need to write it again. Okay, already we had applied it here. Cool, you can delete this one here. Okay, and rest is actually same, everything is same. Okay, so now we can see whether it is working fine or not. So what we did here, we take the individual numbers, split it into different character, loop through each character, then selectively click that character in the calculator, and then uh, generate the result. So that's what we have done here. So let's see whether it is working fine or not. Okay, so let me close this and let me run it again. You can see is opening it. You can see it is clicking 11 and 8 19. Yeah, it was successful. Cool. Now let's test with more numbers. Let's say if you test it with, let's say, 1210, which is the other number as 2536. Now let's see whether it is working fine or not for this last number. You can see it will actually, you can write, see it's writing 1210 plus 2503. Yeah, you can see that it has printed the result 26246. That should be the result when you sum these two numbers. So it is able to handle any number of digits that are coming here. By this, we had completed our tutorial on desktop automation. Hope you had learned a lot from this tutorial. And if you had any doubts regarding this tutorial, you can comment in the comment box or you can reach out to me in LinkedIn. I'm happy to help you. So if you like this tutorial, please subscribe my channel for more updates. Thank you.